On May 19, 1930, Lorraine Hansberry was born to Nanny and Carl Hansberry. She was the youngest of their 4 children. From an early age, Lorraine was surrounded by creativity and intellect. Her father, Carl, was a realtor and an active member of the NAACP. At one point, he even ran for Congress as a Republican. At the age of 8, her father moved the family to a restricted neighborhood where they were the only blacks. They were constantly tormented by their neighbors. In one instance, an angry mob threw a piece of concrete through their window. Although the family was alarmed, they stood their ground and continued to live in their home. As a young child, Lorraine's interest was held by drawing rather than writing. However, that changed at the age of 14 when she won a contest for an essay she wrote on football. Once college time came, she surprised her family and opted not to carry on the family tradition of going to the well-acclaimed Howard University, but instead she decided to attend the University of Wisconsin. After only a short time at the university, she realized it wasn't for her. She decided to move to New York City, where with the help of a friend, she landed a job at The Freedom, a radical black monthly published by Paul Robeson. She soon began to get involved in peace and freedom movements. In 1956, she began to get ideas for a play. She wanted the play to be about a family who had a struggle and who had many financial woes, but aspired to have a better life. After diligently working on her play for a year, she had a finished product, A Raisin in the Sun, which was named after a line in Langston Hughes' poem, A Dream Deferred. The play was produced by a friend of her husband's, Robert Nimroff, who she had married in 1953. A Raisin in the Sun went on to make history. It was the first play to be produced on Broadway by a black woman. The play was also voted Best Play of the Year by the New York Drama Critics. She was the youngest American playwright and the first black person to win this award. During this time, she was also active in the civil rights movement. She raised funds for earnest young men and women who came from the South in an attempt to explain nonviolent attempts. She was often called upon as a well-known and articulate spokeswoman for the black cause. Hansberry arranged a series of concerts featuring popular artists such as Judy Collins and Bob Dylan on behalf of the civil rights movement. Money raised from such concerts were used to buy a station wagon for 3 young men from the North who wanted to help the blacks in Mississippi. Unfortunately, the 3 young men would never return to the North. Their murders caused outcries of shame and anger all over the country. Lorraine soon made a conscious decision to give up her day-to-day action in the civil rights movement and decided to use her talents to make a statement. However, she would not have much more time to display her creativity. Soon after the success of A Raisin in the Sun, Hansberry's life began to go through tremendous changes. Her marriage started to go downhill and she and her husband Robert divorced in 1964. They remained close friends when it came to business affairs, however. Nowhere nearly as successful as A Raisin in the Sun, Hansberry was rushed to the hospital. Doctors diagnosed her with cancer and doubted she would live to see the next day. After spending 4 days in a coma, she regained consciousness and gradually regained her strength. Sadly, she did not last long. On January 12, 1965, Lorraine Hansberry died. She was only 34 years old. Her funeral in Harlem was packed with numerous black people who she had encouraged in her lifetime. Her family and friends gathered to celebrate the life of such a talented young woman.